What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys some breaking news to the upcoming Boruto 2 Blue Vortex manga chapter number 6. And good lord, we're going to be in for a bumpy ride here. While these are officially released spoilers, so Shueisha does want you to know about them, I'll give whoever wants to go into the chapter blind a chance to click off the video now. And for the rest of you guys, you could be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here on our corner of YouTube. So as always, appreciate you guys. Big update. Team Naruto Explain is working on 20 to 40 minute videos right now. So while you guys are going to see more videos edited by me, just know that the editors are working going Sage Mode, KCM1, 6-pass Sage Mode when it comes to the editing on those longer videos. However, with the spoiler warning section out of the way, let's dive into the spoilers that we got. Over on the official page for Boruto, we got a full page from the chapter that is going to be much talked about here. Sage powered Mitsuki versus Boruto is being shown in the next manga chapter, and things are very explosive, which, given how pissed off that Mitsuki is, we're really about to see how much he's actually leveled up in the 3-year time skip. Somewhere Code fans are about to be in the mud if 3 years of training, likely alongside Kawaki, has pushed Mitsuki past White Karma Seal Code. But as we look into the context behind it, I do want to say that the direction that the official Boruto page is taking here by releasing a page on the manga chapter in consecutive months, it is a good sign of things to come. It looks like this is going to be a routine thing. Dragon Ball Super runs in the same magazine as Boruto, and Totaro for years now has leaked out the first 2 pages, albeit they were always storyboards, but we would see those before the Dragon Ball Super chapter dropped, and eventually we ended up getting the official colored manga for Dragon Ball Super that drops over in Japan. So hopefully this Boruto stuff does well on social media and does well on the official website, and we end up getting official Boruto manga content actually covered. But in the meantime, make sure you guys check out Boruto Colored as well as Boruto Art, because their colors are a lot better than some of the official release colors that we have for other series by Shueisha. Very talented people, very blessed to have them in the fandom. So for the context that we have here, Luana from Twitter was kind enough to translate the text for us, and she transcribed the text on the pages that we have. It says Sage Mode activated as a splash text. Boruto shocked at the sight of Mitsuki in Sage Mode, and from the way that he's drawn as, he actually sensed Mitsuki before he showed up. Sarada tries to talk Mitsuki down, telling him to listen to what Boruto has to say, listen to his story, but Mitsuki isn't having any of it, saying that he doesn't care what Sarada is saying to him. He doesn't care about Boruto's story, doesn't care what Boruto has to say. He's reached a point where he's unable to control his bloodlust towards Boruto. For the last few months, we've had fans asking the question of why isn't Mitsuki involved in the story and where is he? And it's something I've been saying each time I did a Mitsuki video addressing some of the complaints. This is a monthly manga. Just be patient, wait for the story to cook. You're not going to get your answers right away. And lo and behold, we finally have Mitsuki paying off the line he had in chapter 1, where he says that when it comes to Boruto, he has this uncontrollable bloodlust inside of him that was so strong, Kawaki was complaining to Mitsuki it was making it hard for him to breathe when he was in Mitsuki's presence whenever Mitsuki thought about Boruto. Now we finally have the two of them squaring off in a fight, and honestly, for the sake of the tension in the story, this was very much needed. Boruto was never going to walk back into Konoha and not have someone try to smoke him in the process, especially after we got that line in the last chapter where Sarada reveals that she tried to show people pictures of Naruto, baby Boruto, saying, hey, Kawaki's a fraud, Boruto's the real son of Naruto, and it was to no avail because of how strong the omnipotent Shinjutsu is. There was going to at least be one big encounter in the process, and it made sense for it to be Mitsuki when you look at the narrative, because he was one of the last people to see Boruto before they had Boruto put on his running shoes and get to jogging out of Konoha before they canceled Christmas on his ass. When Team 10 saw Boruto and none of them tried to attack him, all signs pointed towards Mitsuki versus Boruto being the next move that was made for the story. From a storytelling perspective, this at least keeps the conflict high, and it does begin the process of breaking Mitsuki out the funk that he is and reuniting Team 7. but it's doing so in a way to where it's not cheesy and it's not forced. We don't need Boruto sitting there saying, hey Mitsuki, this is what happened, and Mitsuki goes, oh my god Boruto, that makes so much sense, I'm so sorry, and then he hugs and kisses him and then everything goes back to normal. That'd be horrible writing. What we're getting right now is that Mitsuki is about to clash with Boruto. He's bloodlusted and he's using his full power. His last memory was of Boruto not trying to fight back, and instead he was running away from the village. The reason behind that, it can be rationalized for Mitsuki as well, because he's looking at it from the perspective of, well, he was injured in his battle, so of course he ran away from me. I was going to kill him. This time, however, this time is different. Boruto is fresh and Mitsuki sees it. When they exchange blows there won't be any killing intent behind Boruto's attacks. If anything, because he'll be holding back against Mitsuki, he's going to have to put more energy into his attacks, because it takes more energy to restrain and suppress someone than it does actually kill them off. It speaks more volumes about your level of skill to be able to control that output of damage than anything else. One other concept from Naruto's manga that we had was that shinobi, when they exchange blows, if they're at a high enough level, they can understand each other, they can feel each other's thoughts, and there doesn't need to be any words exchanged for them to communicate. It's why for the longest time Naruto's fists, they could never reach Sasuke, because they weren't on the same level until Naruto actually surpassed Sasuke by the events of the 5 Kage Summit, and we had that very fresh Naruto bring his level down to a point where they communicated with words, albeit very briefly. Boruto likely doesn't need to say anything to Mitsuki right now. Not that Mitsuki will ever listen to him, because of how his mind is too clouded by emotions. And as you know, and as I know, when human beings are super in their feelings and super emotional, no amount of reasoning and logic will ever get through to them. They have to get out their own feelings before they can start accepting facts. Right now, Boruto's fists, they can break through and they can reach Mitsuki's heart right now. We don't have Mitsuki in one page being shown with uncontrollable bloodlust, and then in the next page, he finds himself questioning if Kawaki is still the sun to Mitsuki's moon for no reason. There is a seed of doubt being planted into the clone son of Orochimaru, and his soul doesn't actually know why things feel different, but at the very least, he knows that something's off. That exchange that we're about to get with Boruto, that feeling of the lack of killing intent and the sadness from the fist of someone who Mitsuki would otherwise think the exact opposite would possess, are going to start planting more seeds. Once those seeds are planted, you begin to water them. It's just as Ada told us in chapter 1 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. You're not going to get people to just accept, to borrow a phrase that you will hear down south, all willy-nilly accept their memories have been altered, because they'll just think that you are the crazy one. But if you drop breadcrumbs, if you plant the seeds and water them, then they'll come to the proper conclusion, because it's a new experience for them. We've always been headed down this path that we're on for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. Part 1, Boruto Naruto Next Generations, that was the story of the boy who lost everything and the boy who had nothing gaining everything that he thought that he wanted. And Part 2, Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, is the story of the boy who lost it all and is beginning to regain the things he took for granted. And the boy who was given it all, he's squandering it because he doesn't know how to handle true love. We're seeing Mitsuki be set up to be a vehicle for that. It's just going to be a vehicle that doesn't reach its final destination right away, and that's fine. Seeds need time to grow after being watered. Now, on another thing, this fight, which I do think Smart Money will be on it being a very brief fight, is going to serve the purpose of us getting to see those fruits of Mitsuki's training right now. We have a very clear idea of where base Boruto is at this point in the story. He's stronger than Jigen, he's stronger than the Naruto and Sasuke who got beaten up by Jigen, and he's stronger than White Karma Seal Code, who is stronger than Jigen but weaker than Ishiki. How Sage Mode Mitsuki does against Boruto will likely go a long way towards showing us how high up Mitsuki jumped in his base and with this Sage powers, because base Mitsuki at the end of Boruto Naruto Next Generations was already knocking on the door to Kage level, and Orochimaru literally tells us that Sage Mode Mitsuki possessed more power than Boruto era Orochimaru, which, if you're familiar with Naruto Retsun's story, If you're familiar with the power-ups that Orochimaru got in the war arc, you know that Orochimaru is easily above Kage level. We now get a chance to see what true drive in training, where Mitsuki has a goal of getting to Otsuki level, and that goal has Boruto's face on it, and what training alongside Kawaki actually did for Mitsuki. Because for as powerful as he was, all the training that he did, there was no real focus. I do want to tamper some expectations because I've already seen people take in this entire page and they're running with it. You got people who think that this fight between these two is going to show us Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan powers, and I'm saying it again, I strongly doubt that. She cannot spam the Mangekyo, and it'll be pointless for her to use this power here, regardless as to what this power is, to stop the fight between these two. I get it, wanting to see Sarada's power, and I stand by what I said for months now. It's going to be a while before we see both of her Mangekyo powers. We might be a few volumes into the manga before we actually see them, before we actually see one of her powers, which in real life means that you're going to be a full-blown year from her awakening the Mangekyo Sharingan and never having seen those powers yet, which that is fine. Even for a weekly manga, we had to wait weeks to see one of Sasuke's powers, and it just ended up being Amaterasu, and then we had to wait almost an entire year to see the other two powers of his Mangekyo Sharingan, the Flame Control and the Susanoo. Sit back and let the story cook, especially when it comes to a Mangekyo Sharingan power being displayed, because you can't spam it. Unless she secretly got Hashirama cells pumped into her body, she's not going to spam that power on something as pointless as a fight between Boruto and Mitsuki, one where Boruto is clearly going to have the upper hand and not going to actually lose the fight. In regards to spoilers, this is what we have from the official page. The chapter drops on the 18th this month, so it will be dropping sooner than the 20th. Normally, Boruto chapters on the 20th. This month, we'll be getting them 2 days early, which means that we're probably going to get full spoilers in the next 3 to 4 days. And as long as this snowstorm that is hitting this weekend doesn't have me without power like the 1 inch of ice and snow last year left me without power for half a week, I'll get you guys the spoiler video when the spoilers drop. I've got a couple of small solar generators, so I should be able to get you guys some content and not freeze my butt off while doing so. But if not, because of the snowstorm and the ice, just know the chapter review will go up when the chapter review goes up. In the meantime, don't forget to check out my Chainsaw Man chapter review if you haven't already.